I'm waiting for y'all to come on in here. I'm waiting for y'all to come on in here. It's a short midday Q&A. Ain't doing too much. Ain't doing too much. Refill my lighter. Come on in here, y'all. There we go. Come on in here, y'all. A short midday Q&A. What's up, Bevan? I just came up here because I'm busy as hell working all day today. I wanted to do like I have a couple of topics I want to touch on with y'all, but I'm busy as fuck today. So I got about 45 minutes of free time right now. So it's the only free time I'm having all day. This 45 minutes. Oh, you got that special education teaching job? Remember this teaching the special ed kids. Have patience and see the humanity within them. See the humanity within the spell. That's what I see whenever I work with my special ed kids. When I work with special education, they have a certain purity within their heart. A lot of the special ed kids. And another thing you'll find is there's a lot of black kids in special ed who don't belong there. You say you had the first IEP a couple weeks ago? Oh yeah. I don't know what state you're in. I don't know what they call it in your state, but here in California, the way how they weasel black kids in special education who don't belong in special education, and I'm sure there might be some parents out here that can attest to this. They'll put it in under the title of other OHI, other health impairments. Usually for special education, you're supposed to test into it, be testing low at a particular area, have some sort of cognitive disability. But for sure, Jay Jefferson, that's what they do. You're supposed to test into special education. But the trick they use to get black kids into special education is use this other designation called OHI, other health impairments. What is other health impairments? Whatever the fuck the doctor say it is. And so your other health impairment could be you won't sit still, or you got in a fight and they don't want to deal with you getting in fights. So you'll be in special education under OHI. He said, talking about mental impair, you vote Kamala? Yeah, she. I ain't never in my life listened to Candace Owens. But that shit Candace Owens dropping about Kamala right now, boy. But look out for that. Yeah, you're in Massachusetts. I don't know what they call it in your state. Every state kind of has a different term for it. But in California, it's called, and that may be under your state too. Your antenna should always raise when they have a black child in special education under the classification other health impairments. For sure, Derry. What's up, Clot? Yeah, so it's like, so that's just something I want you parents to look out for. And those of you who are in education, that's why, again, I'm not tripping on them destroying the Department of Education, because the Department of Education has clearly already failed us. Yeah, watch out for that. Somebody said, what will come of all this info about Kamala's background? People who will have greater understanding, that's what will come. For those who care. I appreciate that, Universal. I reviewed Kamami on Club Shay Shay yesterday. That shit was fucking weak. Y'all see the I need y'all to review the comment section on Club Shay Shay. I'm gonna need y'all to review the comment section on Club Shay Shay yesterday after the Kamala interview. Them motherfuckers is clowning. I think my prediction for the election is Trump is clearly in the lead, but who knows what these powers that control these elections have in store. It's whatever they want. I thought Trump was in the lead the last one, and who knew Biden would get more votes than Obama? I still don't believe Biden got more votes than Obama. All elections are rigged. Just like 2000 was rigged. Al Gore won, but they gave it to Bush. Whatever the powers that be that control this country, the people who control this nation, the real power, they decide who's president. I think the American population wants Trump, but if the wish of the American population isn't answered, then it's going to be Kamala. Again, y'all got to remember, as much shit as I talk about this politics, I look at politics the same way I look at basketball and professional wrestling. Even though I don't watch wrestling anymore, I stopped when Stone Cold and The Rock left. But it's entertainment. It's whether you're watching the NFL, the NBA, wrestling, elections. It's a grand showcase with a predetermined outcome for us to observe and participate, or to give false participation in the system. It's like when people didn't identify hardcore with Democrat or Republican, that's like me back in my basketball days identifying with the Lakers. I'm from LA. I love LA. Magic Johnson made me fall in love with basketball. Shaq and Kobe did their thing my college years. Kobe did his thing my after college years. And I've even gone to Game 7 of the finals. I've even sat in Jenny Buss's box seat, courtside, second row, for Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook's first playoff game with the Oklahoma City Thunder. That whole first round and that whole second round with Darren Williams and Carlos Boozer on the Utah Jazz. I was sitting in the box with Jeannie Buss. With all that being said, whether it be when I was a kid watching or sitting in box seats in the playoffs next to Jeannie Buss, it ain't my team. I don't get paid royalties from being a fan. I don't get anything from my fandom. As a matter of fact, if you want to be down, you got to pay for it. Luckily for me, I generally don't have to pay for this kind of shit. I usually have some kind of plug that can get me in shit to where I don't pay. But even me not paying to go in the locker room or the friends and family room after a game and sit courtside without spending a dime, it's still not my team. It's just entertainment. And when you get closer to the entertainment, it's a lot of fun. It's fun going to them games. It's fun driving up underneath the tunnel of the stadium to park and walk into a game in the back through the tunnel instead of through the gates. That's fun. Still ain't my team. What's up, Aries? And it's no different. with political parties. Even for you niggas that are getting paid, you little scrappies out there, you Roland Martins, y'all see little scrappy? You ain't black. I'ma remember who voted for Trump. And if I remember you voting for Trump, you ain't black to me. Why these niggas always turn black every 4 years? What have you done in the years between these elections to advance a black cause? How much history do you speak with your platform? How many black businesses do you turn on to people without taking money from it? How many how much how many scholarships have you paid for a black kid to go to uh, a black high school, a private black high school, a private black preschool? How much money have you put up? I ain't talking about no single mama shit. How much money have you put up to elevate the cause of black society in any way, shape, or form? How many black business grants have you put out, little scrappy? Niggas spend their whole time talking about nothing, rapping about nothing, making music about nothing, on TV shows about nothing, and then want to attack somebody's blackness over a fucking politician. We need to get them kind of niggas up out of here. You ain't black. Look, I'm not even voting for Trump, but God damn it, I voted for Dr. Funkenstein. Y'all saw on yesterday's show. I'm voting for Dr. Funkenstein. But if that's how you see things, nigga, then throw me in with the people that's voting for Trump. Then, if that's how you see it, just so you can just so in your eyes you can make it very clear that we different. Oh, you get this? This is the shirt I be painting in this shirt. There ain't no way I should be on YouTube with this shirt on. This shirt I be painting in and shit. But you can get this at my website, DwannB.com. Hotepish. That's what I used to call my show. What's up, Breeze? In an hour, the reason why I have a short time here, because in 1 hour I'll be in the metaverse cracking jokes. So if you got Oculus glasses, you need to fuck with me. I'm about to be doing live cracking jokes in the metaverse in 1 hour at 4:20 p.m. from 4:20 to 4:45. Yeah. But that's what I'm talking about, you know? You can't. I haven't even seen that Black Men Summit on BET. I was busy yesterday. But at some point, I'm going to watch that Black Men Summit and talk to y'all about that. Appreciate that, Brittany Johnson. Tomorrow's show, what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm going to review. I just came up on, I guess sometime last week, Charleston White and Anton Daniels were on the same podcast. And, you know, I ain't got no issues with either one, but I'm also not a fan of either one. They make their money. Make your money. I ain't tripping. You know, I ain't want to get on the internet about causing no drama and shit. But they did have a segment talking about black people and talking about how black people aren't going through what our ancestors went through and how white people have gotten better. It was a very weird conversation. And so tomorrow, we're going to review that content. So make sure that you watch that clip, that part where they're talking about black people. But I'm going to review that conversation that they had. I'm going to review that conversation. Just that part of the conversation. Because it's like, although I'm not calling any person anything or whatever, there was just a lot of non-truths that they were building up off of. That's why they always say you cannot start an argument with a lie. That's why like people will get frustrated with me. And those who remember that old show I used to be on, y'all will remember sometimes a lot of times I would cut people off. Let me tell you why it was very strategic why I would cut people off when we like in that group forum. Because if somebody says, okay, Dwann, you said 1, 2, 3, but I didn't say none of those things. And then from those things that they said that I said, they build off of, nothing you say after that, it can be taken seriously because you built that whole argument you're making off something I never said. Or no different than with some people who deal with when you're watching these people talk about black folks, when you say, okay, look, black people are not going through what our grandparents went through, that's a lie. We are still going through it. It just changed forms. It went from literally being lynched on a tree to holding your hands up on camera and getting shot in the head. Death is death. They got killed by lynching. We get killed by this. We have to, as the position that we're in as black people now, this new form, it's a much more subversive evil that our generation deals with. It's a much more subversive evil. You know, it was right in front of our grandparents' face. They didn't have tethers like Anton Daniels that looked like us, but they not us. They didn't have to deal with that. And they didn't have to deal with Kamala Harris types. They didn't have to deal with political power. They didn't have to deal with people who look like us, who come over here with a selfish mindset and that will go so far as to undermine us to get what they want. That's one element they didn't have to deal with. They didn't have to deal with a law, an integrated system that told you we're all equal, but we're not. See, back then, separate but equal allowed black people to educate themselves, and we educated ourselves much better than white folks educated us. We produced people who invented light bulbs out of our education system. The people, like I said before, the people who invented the train, the automatic railroad crossing, the refrigerator, the elevator, that all comes out of a community where black people ran our own shit. We were economically independent. It was very clear not to cross those tracks. You know? What we deal with now is an integrated education system that targets our children from the youngest age. That's why when I started this conversation talking about with Evan earlier about the special education system and how black boys are generally broken by the first grade. And they know whether or not you're going to prison by the first grade. And you have a very education system, a very devious education system that's designed around creating criminals. And this isn't conspiracy. See, niggas like Charleston White don't want it with me. Because, yeah, he worked in the community, but I did too. And I wasn't at the city meeting. I wasn't at. I'm not known by the people who are the lobbyists and at the courthouses. That's not where I am. I was in the school system. I was in the mental health system. I was right there on the front line showing and seeing firsthand how they break our minds in kindergarten. But I wasn't in the streets doing a whole bunch of dumb shit like a lot of these niggas was in their 20s. I was in college learning with my environment. So I got to see me only being 2 credits away from having a minor in cultural and anthropology, understanding how to study what I'm looking at and see what I'm saying and ask the right questions. The answer lies in the question. So I got to see firsthand how what they do when the microaggressions black boys face the moment they get in school. If they have an emotional reaction, because guess what? 5-year-olds are still emotional. And they have a certain situation going on because of the pressures of the environment and they react a certain way, they're then targeted and put into special education. Versus when we had our own schools, the reason why jazz was so great, I remember hearing the story of Wayne Shorter, rest in peace, Wayne Shorter, died 2 years ago. But Wayne Shorter said he would always ditch school. And a lot of black musicians have this story. And when he was ditching school, the principal was like, okay, where are you going when you ditch? When they found out Wayne Shorter was going down to the symphony hall and the music hall, and he was going ditching to listen to music, the school brought him back in and put him in music. How about that? Ask the kid where he's going, and as an education system, meet the need. That's what our black schools used to do, child by child. Find out what's wrong and fix the problem. This miseducation system that we're in right now, they find out you're dishing and say, you know what? We can't handle your behavior, put you in the special education program, put you in this non-public school, and let your brains waste and rot away. You know how many times I had to go? See, I came into my situation working with kids with closer to a Charleston white mentality. What's wrong with these niggas? I ain't gonna lie, I came into this situation with a not quite Charleston white mentality, but almost. What's wrong with you niggas? Why can't y'all get y'all shit straight? That's how I came into that job. That's how I came into working with mental health and working in these school systems. But I've always at the same time been very open-minded. And okay, why when I started going to these special ed schools, and in LA they're sprinkled all across the county, even down in the Orange County. And what made my brain click, I had 2 kids at the same time. One that lived in South Central off like Vermont and King. They went to a school in Glendale. Beautiful neighborhood. And the school had door-to-door transportation. Had another kid that went to school in Compton. That lived in Compton. And the kid that lived in Compton, he went to school way in Orange County, like Tustin. Like deep in Orange County. But that school was in an all-white neighborhood, but it was mostly all black children. The school in Glendale was in a mostly Armenian neighborhood, but all black children. Then I had this other kid, I would always have a kid at Vista Del Mar. That's a non-public school here in LA. It's off Motor in the 10 freeway. It's right in Cheviot Hills. Cheviot Hills is like a very rich Jewish neighborhood. But this campus has all black kids. And I had to ask myself, okay, all right. What am I looking at here? Why, when I go to these non-public schools that I've never heard about on the news, by the way, you only know about these schools if you have a kid in one. If you don't have a kid in one, you don't know these schools even exist. You'll drive right past it and never know. These schools is all throughout the city and you'll never know driving past it. It is just like a regular charter school. And some of these beautiful campuses are like private schools because the campus is so immaculate, like Vista Del Mar. And you'll be like, what the fuck am I looking at here? And then these kids become your client. They're your clients. So when they're your clients, you talk to them every week, and then you be like, damn, this kid's smart. I'm over here reading the jacket on this kid. Oppositional defiant. Um, that's one of the main things they put on black kids. Oppositional defiant. Challenges authority. Fights teachers. Has fought staff. All this shit on the jacket. And then you get to talk to this kid a little bit more. You be like, man, this kid actually pretty observant. Okay, why did he get put in this school? Oh, he got in a fight. Oh, okay, well, why did he get in a fight? Well, he was being bullied. And it's a true story, by the way. I'm just not gonna mention the kid's name because I still live by HIPAA guidelines. I don't give out business. But that one kid in particular, he was a small sixth grader. He was getting bullied by this seventh grader, and he beat that seventh grader's ass. So instead of saying, okay, he beat up a bully, suspend him for a week, they said, well, he also has these other behaviors. He's opposition defiant, challenges authority, so we're going to put him in this non-public school over here. And what happens when they go to non-public schools, you'll get a kid that's been in that school now. Mind you, non-public schools, in the IEP, they're supposed to be there 1 year at a time, all right? Every year they're supposed to review the IEP and see how far along that child has gotten towards their goals. Because when you get put in those schools, you have mental health goals. Reduce fighting from 7 times a week to 3 times a week. These are literally how goals go. The goal would be, okay, Devontae has to stop cursing teachers out, reduce cursing teachers out from 4 times a week to 2 times a week. The goals be like that. So, and that's the behavior goal. Then the goal will be like, okay, Devontae has to get a C in English, and he has to raise this score from a 20 to a 30. And then as a kid charts progress, they're supposed to then be pushed up out and back into regular school. But they don't do that for your black ass kid. What they do is and you'll see the IEPs if you ever pay attention to an IEP. They'll have one goal 1 year and say the kid is coming to meet that goal. The next year on the IEP review, they'll change what the initial goal is and show that they didn't meet the goal. And they'll do these kind of tricks to keep your black ass kid in these schools. Meanwhile, you'll have a kid with real autism, this motherfucker slobbering out of the mouth like, yeah, 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 yeah. And the school be like, oh no, they're fine. They're just, You'll literally have a kid that's like, I literally had one kid who was like, we were trying to put him in a non-public school because the motherfucker would be sitting in class and just start slobbering. He was for real autistic. But the school was saying, well, he tested here, but he didn't test there. To qualify for the school, you have to test here, but he tested. You know why? Because the kids who are truly autistic, now that school has to spend resources on making accommodations, but because of the mental health laws, 1977, the right law that made it to where public schools have to accommodate children with disability. The Children with Disabilities Act, 1977, they have to accommodate. So now this kid got true mental health issues. Now that school got to spend that money on staff to accommodate that. But they don't want to spend money on staff to accommodate that. So your child with true autism, you're going to go through hell trying to get them in one of these schools. But if you just got a black kid that's bad, that want to fight, oh yeah. Because now they don't have to spend that money. They load their chart up with all these negative things that ain't true. They get all this money. They hire a whole bunch of black staff because they know that black staff is going to, know how to manage these kids. And it's a whole system. And these kids are going to these schools by the thousands. So what happens when you have a population of children who have menticide has been targeted on them by wicked scientists? They created curriculums and education systems to target these kids. Out of that, you're going to have a percentage that turn into ain't shit people. And you still going to have a percentage that does well. And then when you get this percentage that turns into ain't shit people, these are the people that the media focuses on. People who are doing right. Charles Knight said it himself. When I was doing right by the community, wasn't nobody paying attention to me. Right, nigga. You started getting pushed up in the algorithm when you started going at niggas. You see how it works? The people who target us get elevated, get pushed out. The worst of us gets a microscope placed on them. Every race has these groups of people. And it becomes a whole ecosystem of its own. And then they'll be like, no, that's an excuse. No, nigga, that's not an excuse. That's life. The same way back in Anton Daniels' home, you got people drinking out of the fucking mud hut, drinking out of mud in the ground. And then he'll be like, no, man, no, that's a lot of y'all, nigga. Everybody got their people doing bad. But it's a lot of us doing good too. And you ignore them and do the same thing white folks is doing and focus on the parts of us that ain't shit. And this is a system that I got to view. My name is known down there at 333 South Beaudry, where the Los Angeles Unified School District conducts its IEPs and when they get too deep in team meetings. Because I never lost a fucking case down there. They know me in the Manhattan Beach School District. They know me in the Inglewood School District. When I come in, well, I don't do it no more, but when I used to come in from 2011 to 2000, to say, my last IEP was actually, I took on a client last year. So my last IEP was actually last 2023. When I walk up in there, the school would be like, the parents be like, oh, and all I'll be doing is just like, no, we're not going to put this kid in a non-public school. We're going to keep them here. And since they're testing low in spelling, we're going to get them 60 hours for this semester of spelling tutoring, of a spelling tutor. That means 40 hours. That's about 30 minutes supplemental education twice a week for a semester. When the kids test low in math, okay, yeah, now, school district, you're about to pay for a math tutor because the law states that a child must be in the least restrictive environment. For those of you who have kids in the public school, I'm giving y'all some free game. I charge $3.50 an hour for this shit, all right? I'm giving y'all some shit I charge $3.50 an hour for. So if you have kids, take some fucking notes, all right? Children are supposed to be in the least restrictive environment. Least restrictive means public school, no special accommodations. Based on their behavior, based on where they're testing, it's on the school to provide accommodations to raise them to grade level. That means if your child has been performing at a D level or below for more than 2 years, that means it's the school's job to raise them to grade level, and they have to pay for these accommodations. Okay? But what they'll do is they'll say your child's not performing at grade level, so we got to put them in this special education. You don't want to do that because the minute they take your child and put them next to children with true Down syndrome, true autism, another kid who's in there because his behaviors are extreme, another kid's in there because he had fetal alcohol syndrome and he can't control his behavior. Now your child with none of those issues, they're just below a little bit in grade. They're now placed in an environment where people can't learn, What is that going to do to your child's functioning? Put your child around lower functioning children, your child's going to function at a lower level. It's a system. When that same system, if you hire somebody like me, breakthroughas.org, I'll come into that school and be like, no, we're not putting them in that class. We're going to keep them in their current class. And you're about to give tutoring and supplemental education, and then you have goals. Okay, you got to get your spelling test from an average score of 5 out of 10 to an average score of 8 out of 10. And so you got to pay for the tutoring. If your child has issues like some kids have issues tying their shoes. Some kids have issues with like anything with motor skills. Now it's the school's job to provide occupational therapy. Write this down, nigga. Occupational therapy. Your child has any motor skills issues? The school has to provide occupational therapy to get those motor skills to a functioning level. Dan, you say you was raised in special ed. Yeah, you put special. You know what that does to you? It lowers your function. You shouldn't have never been in special ed, because that white kid at the school down across the neighborhood, across the street, they're not getting put in special ed. They're getting these accommodations because these accommodations are required by law. And you bring somebody like me up in that motherfucker, you getting those accommodations. You talking to somebody that's tried and true to this. I've had well over 200 cases down there in IEPs, and I've gotten my kids everything every fucking time. I've never not gotten my kids what they supposed to get. Never, not once. Where my mods at? Somebody asked what do I think of what's going on in the other country and what I think of the flag. Make sure you let that person know, I think you need to get the fuck up out of here. Mods, kick them out. You said, Boy Shock, you had a special ed, so did you MDT? Yeah. So y'all know what I'm talking about. Misa, you're 11-year-olds in special ed with my class? Yeah, no. Misa, your kid don't belong in special ed with math. Your kid belongs in math, and they need to be hiring a tutor for him. They need to be hiring supplemental education to raise his scores up. Appreciate that, Unique Organics. Yeah. So you see how it goes? See how it goes. What's up, human? Yeah, in the cycle. And you do this to the kids by the thousands in every city around the country. The same thing is, look, y'all not even, the people in this chat aren't even from LA. How is it that I was able to speak to their experience and I didn't even know them? Yeah, Misa, they can pay for it. And because if your child's in special ed, that means they have an IEP. That means that school, and you do this next time you go to your IEP, They need to be giving him supplemental education. Every state has its own jargon. There we go. There we go. Every school, every state has its own wording that it uses for it. But they're supposed to get supplemental education to where they're supposed to provide, and usually what I would give for my kids was anywhere from 40 to 60 hours a semester. That would be like 30 minutes twice a week or 1 hour a week that they meet with their math tutor. Yeah, the school got to pay for that. That's good. Telling them you don't want your child using the calculator right on the process. Right. It's good they learn that process. Yeah, all y'all got school districts out there that can pay for y'all, especially if your child is testing low in a particular area, it's the school's job to pay for them to catch up. That's why the state paying for them. That's why the state's paying for your education. They have to pass. And if the child's not passing, that means the school's not doing its job. That means that the school can't do its job during hours, they got to pay for somebody to come in off hours and get it done. Yeah. That's right, MDT. You said in Florida, black man, you say you was gifted and try to put it in special ed. Yeah. They try to put me in special education. But you gotta be ready to fight though as a parent. And most parents can't be bothered. That's the issue. And the schools know that. That's the reason why it's two things. Most parents can't be bothered, and the ones that can be bothered don't know where to go. That's the issue. And the ones that do know where to go oftentimes can't afford somebody like me that can get it done. But they're generally, let me help y'all out. I won't say every city. A lot of cities have law firms, education advocates. Appreciate that, Unique Organics. A lot of cities have law firms that do these pro bono because they want to get the school to mediation so they can get their settlement money. I've actually gotten a few settlements. I've only had to go all the way to mediation twice. Usually I get what I get before I get to mediation. But there are a lot of nonprofit law firms around the country that do IEP advocacy. Just type in IEP advocacy for your city. And there are IEP advocates, there are law firms that do these pro bono. If you have the money, it's best, to pay for it outright. Yeah, they make sure you don't know, Misa. They make sure you don't know. They make sure, see, for me, I was working mental health, and my job made me go to IEPs. I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I first started going, just sitting there like, okay, why am I here? I'm here because I'm on the clock. And I'll be sitting there, I'll be not paying attention, be on my phone the whole time, on Facebook, talking shit. And listening like, oh, okay, yeah. Then after about a couple IEPs, I pulled one of my coworkers and I was like, okay, what is this? What's this IEP thing? Special education. Okay. So I started doing my own research on it. And then I had a chance meeting with a friend from college. And this is why, even as pro-black as I am, I'm always open to everybody of every race. I'm a person, you treat me right, I treat you right. This is back when I was driving like Uber Eats. When Uber Eats first came out, we talking like 2014, 15, sometime around there. I'm driving Uber Eats, and I have a drop off, and I see the address. The address, I was like, huh. I had a homegirl from college that lived over here. It was this Asian chick that I knew in college. Super sweet. To this day, super sweet. Love her. And I got nothing but love for her. And she see the shit that I talk. But she knows what it is. But I was like, but I hadn't seen her since college. I went to Cal State Northridge. She went to UCLA. But I partied at UCLA when I was in college because my school, Northridge, is way too far out to go back to. UCLA was my party school. Cal State Northridge was where I got my degree. And me and her got real cool in college. But we kind of lost contact, stayed in contact through Facebook because we became Facebook friends. She's actually one of my early Facebook. We was Facebook friends back in the days. You need a college email address to join Facebook. Y'all remember them days? You had to have a .edu email address to be on Facebook. That's how how long me and her been friends. So I had seen her like probably about 7 or 8 years. I do an Uber Eats drop off, and I was like, oh shit. And she was like, yeah, I be seeing you on Facebook. You be going to these IEPs. And I said, yeah, I be doing that. I said, I be kicking their asses in these IEPs too. I was sort of bragging about how I be winning and shit. And then she was like, you ever think about being an IEP advocate? I was like, nah, I just work with these mental health. I don't do, well, I said, that's a job? She was like, yeah, and these advocates are making boom-de bam, boom-de bam. I'm like, huh? They're making that for this? And this Asian woman put me up on all the game on how to turn this shit from me doing this for this company that wasn't paying me shit to creating my own company doing it. And that's when I created Breakthrough Advocacy Services. And that's what allowed me, when it was time to quit my last job, before I got on YouTube, because I walked out on that job in 2019, that's what allowed me to walk out of my job and still have an income. Learning that trade, using that job to learn the IEP trade and what that really is, and getting experience. And then the Asian homegirl put me up on game as to how to make it a business. And then she put me in contact with lawyers. She set me up with lawyers that I can refer, because she was a lawyer. And I worked with her law team. She set me up with all the paperwork, all the disclosures. This is before ChatGPT and templates. All the templates to all the different letterheads to get action. She set me up with the whole suite. And I used it. And when it was time for me to leave my last job, I could leave. I just could walk out. If y'all want me to do some IEP training, I can do that, but it ain't gonna be for free. When I tell you the thousands of dollars I spent on conferences to learn this shit, it ain't gonna be for free. But I'll do it. Email me if you're interested. Because if you're interested in me doing IEP training and training you how to work these IEPs, I'll do it. And when I have it all ready, because I have to go make sure to get my paperwork together, I'll send everyone an email when I'm ready to do it. Because I used to go. One thing I can tell you to do is to join. You need to join. Look up Peter Wright and Wright's Law. He has a lot of books. But I can definitely train you guys on this. Like I said, I got an email, I got a call 2 weeks ago to do an IEP because my name got out there when I was doing it. I don't really want to do it like that no more. I got a call 2 weeks ago to do one, and I just was like, nah, I can't do it. I can't do it. You know, when you get to a point where you've sort of moved on from a part of your life, and I've sort of moved on for that, but I still have a lot of the information. And I would love to train people on how to do it. That's more, I like training anyway. I'd rather teach than be involved in the shit. I spent 15 years in the mud. I don't want to go back to it. But I will teach. I will teach you guys how to do it. And if you're a parent, you should join too. I'll give a special rate to the parents who want to learn this, because if you have a child that's in IEPs, you want to learn all this shit so you can do it yourself. And it'd be a lot cheaper, better for me to train you on how to do it than it would be for me to do it for you. I'll tell you that right now. The only way I'm doing the IEP is, whew. When I do IEPs, $3.50 an hour. And usually between paperwork, gathering resources, conversations with you, you're looking at a minimum, a range of 10 to 15 hours of work. And that doesn't include being at the IEP. That's about how much an IEP costs. Like that's about how much time it takes. It's about 10 to 15 hours of preliminary work to get ready for an IEP meeting. And I don't have 10 to 15 hours of time to dedicate to an IEP anymore. Unless somebody paying $3.50 an hour then. But I'd rather train you guys on how to do it. I'd rather teach you how to do it. You know, and it'll be ongoing. Like it won't be one class. It'll be a bunch of classes. It'll be a series of classes. And with Q&As. And the way I'll set the training up is, I'll still be available to you even when we're done with the class, you know, for quick emails and just if you want to know. But I'm going to load you up. I got so many books, websites, resources. I got it all. Yeah. After you're done with me, you'll know how to do the shit yourself. So email me, Peter Wright and Wright's Law, yeah. I'm telling you right now, those are some of the books I'm going to have y'all buy. You know, I'll definitely consult with people. I just can't do IEPs myself anymore. I'm past that. The one I did last year, it drained me so much. I did an IEP this time last year for an Indian family. They were a bunch of Kamalas. And they were right over here in this white school district. And the school district was fucking this little brown-skinned Indian kid up. One of the white schools, one of the mostly white schools. This little Indian kid was getting fucked up by this school. And the parents, they barely could speak. They could speak English, but, you know, they like, what the fuck? They from India. They don't know. They don't know America's crazy. People be moving to America not knowing how fucking crazy this country is. That's why as black people, y'all can't go around, y'all be trying to get empathy from other groups. Part of the reason why we don't get empathy because they dealing with it too, just to a different degree. People ain't gonna empathize with you because they dealing with it too, to a degree that they can handle. But these kids, these Indians was like, what the fuck? They're like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know what the fuck is going on. What is this? Man, the mom was all worried, calling me every day. And that'd be the part. I can't get mad at moms because you're emotionally tied to your child. So you're gonna, you know. But I'm like, Mom, calm down. I got this. I'm over here smoking on a blunt, on the phone. She don't know I'm on the phone. Yeah, your kid, yeah, I got it. Get to the IEP. And I told her, I don't talk at IEPs. I don't talk. I say very little at IEP meetings. I let them say everything. And you got to give them 48 hours of notice that you're going to record, at least in California. In California, you need no. California is, I think, it's 72 hours notice that you're going to record. See, these are the nuances and intricacies. Is why you're gonna have to take my training. You gotta give them notice to record. You record it, let them talk, and they always fuck up. They always double talk at some point because they lying. Schools are always lying. So since they're always lying, just let them talk. They'll double talk. Let them do it. They double talk every time. And then based on what they give me in the IEP, in the meeting, what they're talking about, that's where I base my recommendations on what they need to give me in return. Or we're taking this shit to arbitration. But that last one with them Indians, they saw me sitting there. They played so nice. They gave that mom everything she wanted. The dad called me afterwards like, oh my gosh, it was so great. How did you do it? We've been doing this for 2 years and we haven't gotten anything done. How did you do it? You know, the Indians pronounce their T's. How did you do it? I was like, nigga, I'm the nigga. But yeah, I know that system at the back of my hand. So yeah, my most recent IEP was October 2023. So I still know what I'm talking about. I just can't do it anymore. I got documentaries to give y'all now. I'm in a totally different space in my life. But I would love nothing more than to share this information with parents and people who care. But I got to get in my Metaverse comedy show. I'm about to put them Oculus glasses on and crack some jokes in the Metaverse. Hell yeah, it's draining. And plus, I like doing, I'm a Renaissance man. I do a whole bunch of shit. I get bored doing one thing for too long. I got to move on. Just like I got to move on from this live and put them Oculus glasses on and talk shit. Email me if you want to be a part of the IEP training course, and I'll holler at y'all. I'm not going to make it too bad on that. I'm not going to hit you too hard over the head with it. All right? Y'all have a good one.